Or actually, cool. You can too if you want. Aloha and welcome to the Libertarian Party of Hawaii Bylaws and Platform Committee. Tonight is Monday, December 8th, 2025. It is 7 p.m. Hawaii time. We are on Zoom. We have our call to order at 7:09. Excellent. Present with us, we have Austin Martin, Nicholas Zehr, Abbra Green, Ken Schoolland, Celina Monge, Bryce Thon. Am I missing anyone? All right, cool. We're gonna keep it pretty loose. We haven't needed to strictly define things, but we probably should. We can do that through the EC if necessary, but procedurally. But I kind of like to keep the bylaws committee very open to people who want to have their opinions and just make it very accessible.
I
Okay.
think that's fair considering most of us are on the EC and or very involved anyway, so
Okay. We may have already done that. I don't recall.
we did. We set up the bylaws committee, but it was the three of us at the time.
That's fine. So we can basically.
So we could probably appoint more in the meeting officially in the bylaws committee, I assume.
I just wanted to know mainly who the voting members were, so I know how to count the votes for those who are in it. And then anybody who wants a vote, I'll record your votes separately and we'll appoint you. We can always hold off if there's anything contentious. I'd really like to, if anybody has any like concerns or anything, I'd really like to make sure that they're heard. Okay, before we move too far, let's get back on topic here. First, it would be approving the minutes from November 3rd, 2025. Any discussion? All right. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of approving the minutes from November 3rd, 2025, please say aye or show your hand.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. All right, cool. And on the agenda, brief walkthrough. We're open to motions on Articles 1 and 2, which were under discussion last time. And so if anybody has any of those, please, once we call item 5, you can feel free to introduce if you want to add or remove or change any of the language in Article 1 or 2. And I will allow for motions to be brought on these in the future if necessary, but we're going to try to give, an opportunity for each section. So this is just how we're doing it. So but we are flexible, so no pressure. If you had something that you wanted to add and just didn't have it ready, that's fine. Just let me know. Cool. And then after that, we have Article 3. That's the section on membership. We're going to do a read through and discussion. There's some different opinions on this, so I expect it'll be a good and healthy discussion. There's no wrong answers. All right. Anybody want to add or subtract or change or whatever the agenda? Any discussion before we call the question? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Unanimous. All right. Excellent. Item 5. The floor is open to discussions or motions on Article 1 or 2. I'll give a brief opportunity for anybody who wants to bring something from Article 1 or 2.
I can leave that this page to refresh everyone's memory.
Thank you.
Can you enlarge the print a little bit? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, and it's on the edge. That's a little too much. Wait, maybe. Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. Good.
It's like that still.
Article 1 was just the name shall be the Libertarian Party of Hawaii.
We read through and discussed these in the last bylaws committee meeting, but again, we want to give an opportunity for anybody who wants to raise any discussion or make any motions on these two sections.
I might say section 2. Well, if you go back, yeah, section 2, part B, um, uh, sounds like it's asking for limited government intervention to achieve maximum freedom. I don't think that's what you mean. The parties.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. What if we, and you should put this in as a note because we haven't approved it yet. So like maybe highlight it or write a note. Yeah.
Put it here so we can all see what we're looking.
If you just copy that sentence, you would change the with to and a limit to government intervention. What do you think of that, Ken?
Or they shall aim to achieve maximum freedom by limiting government intervention. How about that?
Yeah, I like that. By limiting government intervention. Do we want to qualify what kind of government intervention? Like by limiting.
I think that gets more complicated than you need to at this stage of it, because it becomes very complicated when you try to then get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah,
What if we
we really want this to be an overview. I agree.
What if we
Yeah,
say
general
maximum
is good.
individual freedom by limiting government intervention?
Yeah, by maximum individual freedom by limiting government intervention. And the limit
If I could,
is absolute. I mean, it allows still that it could be absolute limit, none, no intervention at all, or the Minicus saying, well, reducing what the government intervention is. So,
Would you write in there a note that this is an amendment suggested by Ken Schoolland?
if I
Yeah,
may real quick, B sounds a lot like C, or the suggested amendment sounds a lot like C.
that's true. It's a redundant there.
Could we get rid of B?
Yeah, you could get rid of B because that's covered by C. And
suggestion is to strike
do you think maybe do you think we could combine it, like the party shall seek to maximize freedom and limit government intervention in social economic affairs, blah blah blah, so that way it still includes that element of maximize freedom?
Sure. So you say the party shall aim to achieve will aim to maximize freedom by limiting government intervention in social and economic affairs to protect the natural rights of individuals, especially life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah. That's good.
I like that.
Through
Abbra,
limited.
some time. Yeah, I'd copy that. There you go.
Now, there is some discussion on whether or not you want to say and the pursuit of happiness, as in the Declaration of Independence, or life, liberty, and property, as John Locke intended.
Personally, I would say property would fit better than the pursuit of happiness, but
yeah, because the pursuit of happiness opens up all kinds of interpretation. How do you define it and all that? Well, property is
Yep, I like that suggestion. I think Abbra, can you add that as well?
That last one.
Change pursuit of happiness to property.
Yeah.
The pursuit of happiness, you can strike that and replace it with property.
And the nice thing about that, and it does show what we intend to limit government to, the protection of individual rights.
Life, liberty, and property. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So
that's a really helpful suggestion. Thank you.
If I
Yes.
could jump a counterpoint on it, just for the sake of discussion, it's probably not that important. One thing I did like about pursuit of happiness, I think that kind of dives into positive rights. So uh, anything that's not infringing on others or a crime to them, like there shouldn't be government should not be involved. So that I think also goes towards the aim of the pursuit of happiness being really whatever you want that's not impacting like damaging others.
Mr.
Yeah.
Schoolland, would you accept a friendly amendment where we say life,
Incorporated within
liberty?
liberty, though.
I'm sorry?
It doesn't
Yeah,
liberty encompass what you're striving with the pursuit of happiness. That's your liberty
I
then.
agree.
He's got a
my
point. So forgive him.
personally, in the discussion of positive and negative rights, my main concern with positive rights is those rights really only, like civil rights, for example, they really only exist through government enforcement. And I don't think that's what, respectfully, I don't think that's what the Libertarian Party wants to push. Whereas negative rights exist, like negative rights are your freedom from, they kind of exist whether the government's there or not.
Yeah, I see your point. It's a good point, Bryce.
He does raise a good
Did I just switch
I,
them?
I'll actually throw in a counterpoint on that, though, because and I do generally agree with Bryce that the negative rights are way more important in a lot of ways. But one area that I'll give you an example would be like our Read into the Law initiative would be like a positive right. You could articulate it by saying everybody has the right to become a lawyer, right? And if that's blocked off in a way that, circumvents that profession from being an occupation of the common right, that would be an infringement. But it's a civil right, because there might be or someone might argue there's a compelling government interest in ensuring competency, which I think is so silly and ridiculous. But, for political purposes, that's where we're at. So I would say that there are things that we can fight for as the party that aren't necessarily embarrassing or bad, that, they're not the best, but there are positive rights that, can be embodied. Sorry. Anyway, sidetrack.
The idea, for example, of a right to become a lawyer, well, actually, there you're just talking about the right of contract, that somebody has the right to choose whoever they want to be their lawyer. And it's not that we can assert that they can be a lawyer. That's a matter of individual contract between two parties.
That's true until it enters the court. And in strictly judicial sense, the court will only recognize a lawyer. They're an organ of the state, right? And so it is a state. By the fact that there is a state that exists, unless that situation changes, then the positive right to be recognized by that state as what you are doing, like, again, practicing law, ought to be allowed. So I'm not trying to like poke a hole in it or anything, because I agree. Positive rights are mostly problematic, right? Like most of those consist in entitlements and demands, and oftentimes can lead to infringements. But there are some limited situations where interaction with the government is necessitates a certain kind of civil right, like equal treatment and other things like that. But in general, I agree, and I think it's probably better to leave the pursuit of happiness clause off is where I lean.
Well, we also have happiness up at the top.
Hey,
The party shall seek to increase human respect and happiness amongst individuals and local communities through voluntary cooperation. So you're kind of repeating the happiness twice anyway that way. So
I also wanted to
new
define
one.
that in case you guys think that's just word salad. I think there's things that we do beyond ballot access and beyond strictly elections proper that are important and even sometimes integral to elections. Single issue coalitions can be what make the difference. And when we go through and want to do stuff in communities and do activism or help community organizations form around issues and whatnot, when things like that, when those situations occur, we want that to be under the purview of what we're doing, and we don't want the objectors of legitimate political action to say, well, you need to strictly focus on ballot access. So I also think this is kind of a nod to some of our big interests that I think are moving the party in the right direction, and I think that this is kind of a good way to positively embody, what we stand for. The NAP, can in some sense be, granted it's too broad, but it can be summarized by human respect. And it's a term that a lot of people understand and, will be attractive as a positive value. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on. I'm sorry. Nobody interrupts me. It's dangerous for me to talk.
Do you really want us to start treating you like National's doing?
No. I mean, you can interrupt me and say, hey, you don't have to be nice to me. Just, no, but yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's a good suggestion. Ken, do you see anything else that you think is could use a touch up?
Oh, and further down, you mean, or
just on what's on the screen right now?
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. Combine B and C together, and then I have no problem with the fiscal soundness of it. I mean, ultimately, I'd like no government spending and taxation. But if this is going to be in there, I don't have any objection to it because it's certainly a step in the right direction. But it's
point on that. It's about the party.
I mean, fiscal soundness gets into issues rather than overall philosophical objective.
Maybe this belongs in a different section, but that clause is aimed at the party. So the LPHI has to maintain fiscal soundness with a balanced.
Oh, the party shall. Okay, it's not what it's prescribing for government, but for itself. Yeah, I like that. It's fine. Okay.
I adjusted that and brought it over from the old language, and I thought it was a really good idea to avoid that. I don't know about making it absolutely like a shall not incur debt, but I think that it's important to. So, I mean, that is one thing that is worth thinking about on that. Do we want to cut it entirely?
Because it doesn't fit the title here. The objective of political action, maybe the manner of political action belongs in another section.
So let's say, hold on. Can you look up on section 1 really quickly? Yeah, let's move that to section 1.
Statement of principles.
Oh no, yeah. Hold on. Whoops.
What is 2? What is 3? I mean,
section 3 is membership.
Oh,
so, I could, we could say the objective and means of political action.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Because it's not just the objective; it's the method or the means. Yeah, I like that.
You can make a note that I suggest. Just put it in parentheses, and means, say AM on the date. Or yeah, that works. Cool. Well, if we're good, then I think we can wrap up. I think
I will second Ken's wording that we have on the screen.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry. I just wanted to comment real quick. Kind of going to Ken's point for when we mentioned taxes, I think that can also be rolled up in property because your property and your money is your property. So by protecting property rights, we also are protecting people from taxes.
Yeah.
Or advocating. Yeah.
But there again, it's an issue, that we in for the platform, I guess, or whatever. But
yeah. My name needs to use. Thank you. All right. Cool. Can you put section 1 on the screen really quickly before we move on? Can you put section 1 on the screen before we hover on? Thank you. Okay. All right. We can always come back to these if anybody wants to make any motions or suggestions or whatever. This is not the last opportunity. So just FYI. I am happy to go ahead and put these through. Abbra, you said second is Ken, did we already vote you onto the bylaws committee?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, good question. I don't know.
Procedurally, I'll need to do that. I'll record your vote either way.
Yeah,
but for
we'll record it and then
for moving and seconding though,
If it's not officially on there, I don't mind that either. I mean, I'm glad to be a participation in the discussion. Vote. I mean, it's up to you guys.
It's fine. Just procedurally, we have to have somebody who's already voted on move it and then second it, and then we can continue. It'll be fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll second it then if
Bryce is on the bylaws committee.
yes, I am.
Are we going
Yeah, I think
by
he is. Okay,
the
cool.
people who signed the volunteer form and requested to be, because like,
Oh, did we?
if-
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
see, the confusion is officially it's just the three of us, but since it's just the three of us, we can vote whoever we want to onto the committee.
Okay, so you want to move to just accept them really quickly, impromptu?
You know, maybe I jumped the gun by coming in on a meeting that I wasn't supposed to be on.
You're
Just
most
saw the
welcome
announcement,
here.
but that's
It's
the time.
everybody. It's not
We
you.
want you here 100%. So don't even worry about it. I just want to make sure that our process is not impeachable, because there are people who will take advantage of silly, stupid mistakes, and so it's prudent
Okay,
to
so we're gonna
procedurally.
stay.
No. Just it only takes 2/3 to do this, and you and I are 2/3. I'm pretty sure that nobody is in disagreement. I think just go ahead and add the approve pending memberships to the bylaws committee. Pending memberships to the bylaws committee.
Yeah, I know I'm not a part. I just wanted to be like a fly on the wall and learn a little.
No, you're fine. Do you want to be included in the bylaws committee? Because we can put you on.
No, I wouldn't want my presence to add to like the required quorum or anything.
Okay, then no worries. And yeah, Ken, you're good. Everybody's good. I don't want to stick you on a committee you don't want to actually be on. And we can accept your suggestions even if you're not a voting member and still vote on them. So
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's fine because I mean I just had some time and I saw this announcement and I thought, oh, I'll join in the meeting, but I don't want to gum things up.
you're good. We got this. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and ask, is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I will move us to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I'll just raise my hand and you can decide whether or not it's
Nick, I think you're the third member.
Okay, I was staying quiet. I was thinking, oh man, am I on that committee or no?
Yeah, I think
Here I am talking out of place.
No, you're good, man. You are most recognized.
Okay,
Mostly
aye.
Unanimous approval.
Cool. All right, excellent. Now,
All right.
congratulations and welcome to the bylaw committee. All right, back to
I
where we
will
were.
now formally second Ken's motions.
Cool, excellent. And we can do that. Motion by Ken Schoolland. It is seconded. Any further discussion on this? Going once, going twice. All right, I'll move us to a vote. All those in favor of adopting the language proposed by Mr. Schoolland, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Sorry, Nick, I voted before you. I thought you already did. I just realized I messed up there. But thankfully I didn't call it wrong. All right, cool. Excellent. The language is adopted. We will throw it in there. You can leave it like that for now, and we'll put it on like a final or into the draft. Okay, cool. Moving forward to the next. Abbra, I'll give you a second to catch up on that. Oh, wow. Hey, that was fast. All right, cool. New business is Article 3.
Did you want to motion to change the title as well?
Oh, yeah, the motion to change the title. I forgot about it. Thank you. Any discussion on this before we move to a vote?
I'll second it.
Oh, it's not seconded. Thank you. I'm out of order. All right. It is moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the change to objective and means of political action from the objective of political action, please say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, cool. I'm going to start, just introduce Article 3. Abbra will get it up on the screen here in a second. Article 3 is about membership, and Abbra and I actually have a little bit different opinions on this.
We can read it.
Yeah, we'll do the read through first. Abbra, do you want to do the read through?
Sure. Section 1, responsibilities. Membership is open to individuals who subscribe to the party's principles and objectives and conduct themselves accordingly. Affirm the non-aggression principle, or NAP. Quote, I hereby certify that I will not initiate physical force or commit fraud against another to accomplish social or political goals. Maintain a physical presence or interest, e.g. owns property, works in Hawaii, or plans to reside there in Hawaii, or are registered to vote if eligible. This section does not apply to traveling or lifetime members. Are in good standing, defined as having paid required dues if applicable, maintaining active participation, and not being subject to disciplinary action or suspension under Article 7.
Is this a point of a time when we can
We can
raise a
Yep.
question or something on there?
Yeah, let's pause by section. That sounds good. You're a recognized principal. You have the floor.
Yeah, may I, with regard to section C, may I suggest that we delete the requirement to be registered to vote if eligible?
That is currently an or. So it's just one of the.
I see. Oh,
that-
yeah. Okay.
We want to encourage registered voters and for that to be normative, but yeah, it's Hawaii, and we've got the sovereignty folks, and we've got we've got it all, and yeah.
Well, if it's an or, that's fine. Yeah, that's I understand that point. That's good. Okay, I retract my question on that.
Since we're going section by section here, I can also, how do I pull up this? Why is it not showing?
I'll summarize this really quickly. This is basic membership. If you live here, if you have an interest, if you're working in Hawaii, basically you're actually residing here.
Do you want to say registered to vote in Hawaii?
Registered to vote in Hawaii. Yeah. Oh wait, where Darling?
Actually, that's a really good point, because right now it sounds like you are either in or affiliated with Hawaii, or you're registered to vote. Like, vote where? That could be anywhere.
So that would
Yeah, I feel like that should
other
probably be
states to try and
clarified.
influence
That
our.
is a good catch. Dang. Okay, so registered to vote. The suggested language is in Hawaii. Can we add that as a suggestion under C?
Should we move in Hawaii to the end of the sentence there?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So suggestion, yeah, move in Hawaii.
That will help that with that last convention too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would have.
Who said that? Section C.
Yeah, who pointed that out? That was Ken.
Would
Yeah, I
What out?
raised the point, but I
Yeah.
think it was nicely reinforced by maybe it was Nick or I don't remember Bryce. I didn't quite catch the voice, but one of you guys.
I
Do
think
we have a
Bryce and
second?
Nick both pointed that out. Can you say it by Bryce and Nick? Is that correct?
That works.
Yep.
Bryce's name needs a name. We can change these to Mr. Tone and Mr.
Yeah, these are
Zehr.
just short for now.
I'm offended on their behalfs. I can't believe you're using their first names.
That makes you feel better. People within my own state party pronounce my last name wrong all the time.
Propriety, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry,
How
guys.
do you say your last name, Bryce?
It's Tone. It's German.
Oh, okay.
I was getting that wrong too.
Yeah, but you guys aren't in my state party. I don't really care if they get it wrong either because I'm just used to it. People have been getting it wrong my whole life, but
Oh man.
I don't care as much about Hawaii, like you guys getting it wrong as I would like Amanda Griffiths getting it wrong, for example.
The reason magazine, the great journalist of our time. All right.
Okay, so if we're going section by section, we also have Craig DaCosta's submission, which is quite a bit different than what we had written down. His says party membership is exclusively limited to Hawaii residents who are registered voters, have paid annual dues in the amount of $20 per year, or a single payment in the amount of $1,000 for a lifetime membership, and have signed the following party pledge. I hereby certify that I do not believe in or advocate for the initiation of force as a means of achieving political or social goals. So his is the membership dues set at a $20 rate, and to
Can I point one thing out that I didn't notice until just now? I'm sorry, I didn't.
yeah,
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just giving the synopsis there. That's the
I noticed
cost set in the bylaws, and it's the voter registration requirement for membership.
Thank you. I just noticed that under this revision, if I just don't believe or advocate in the initiation of force, then I can use force and fraud as much as I want personally. Well, I was thinking that the wording of the pledge
Well,
is ours, but national has what we have here. I want to make sure that that's
another. Oh, I didn't actually end up looking that up.
let's double check that.
Yeah, because that should match nationals probably.
I
and
think
there's two
ours
different
I
versions.
think ours does match nationals, but I think Craig's is just a little different here. That's okay. Okay, so we have, before we move on, because I don't want to get us out of order, we do have a motion with a second. I know we put them all off to the end last time before we moved them, but since this has been moved and seconded, we need to dispose of this before we proceed. So is there any other discussion on moving the words "in Hawaii" to the end of that sentence? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of authorizing this change to the draft, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Any opposed? All right. Yeah, aye for the record. Yes, unanimous. Cool. Excellent. Moving forward / backward. if someone seconds Mr. DaCosta's proposal, then we would have to vote on it. If no one seconds it, then it will just remain as a suggestion. Or I guess someone would have to move it and second it. Sorry,
Yes,
procedurally.
definitely.
On this, I'm gonna make sure before our next meeting that's good. Let me see. I can't access my apps freely here.
Oh, here, maybe I can do a new window for that.
LP.org.
LP.org.
Oh yeah, it's
My
hard to
main
find.
concern, my main concern with DaCosta's, aside from what Austin pointed out, is that it would change the or registered to vote to an N, meaning they would have to be registered voters.
I feel like we have a lot of Hawaiians who are willing to activate in other good ways, but who
Don't
are
agree with
very
it.
disenfranchised with voting, and that would be like a hard line for them. So I'm not really in favor of that personally.
And a lot of libertarians are disenfranchised with voting in general.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yep. It sounds like we're
Um,
we're in agreement. All right, let's see. This would
how do
be.
we
I bet if
join?
the only way to get what you want out of LP National is to click the donate now button. It's probably the only way to find the pledge on this whole site. Let's see. If you want them to do what you want, just hit donate now. I hear you don't even have to donate. You just have to tell them that you're going to donate, and they'll bend over backwards. Abbra.
Well, just remember, Austin, Evan McMahon and Jonathan McGee don't think you have to subscribe to the statement of the statement of principle doesn't apply to the national board. So
Guidelines, they're just guidelines. Like it's like Craig DaCosta says, if you don't believe in it and you don't advocate for it, then it's okay for you to. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Craig's intent is probably not that, so I'm not trying to make fun of him. That's not my intention there. But the wording there, those guys, if they had that wording in the national pledge, then that would.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
See that, at that point, it really doesn't matter what intent is. The language can be exploited, and it will be exploited as shown by what's going on the national level.
Is there even though I think ours does a good job of it, is there any way we could put a sentence in the first couple articles that just reinforces statement of principles that much more, just to set an example to national? Feel like we go so hard in the statement of principles.
We should put the words, the LPHI and all committees are bound by the statement of principles and the ethics therein. Something like that.
We the members of LP Hawaii.
Dude.
And then make sure it's in a blog post. Share that.
That's for donations.
No, I'm looking at the join the LP. They took the pledge off the website. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Certified.
That I oppose the initiation of force as a means. Boy, I feel like our language is stronger. I wanted it to match, and now I'm liking the idea that I will not do it. I think that's probably the most important thing, right? Like, I'm not just saying I oppose it. I'm also not going to do that while I am conducting politics or at all. And if I do, that pledge is how you can grab me by the collar and say, you pledged you wouldn't, you did, violation, get the hell out. If that's those are the rules I'm living by. So,
but isn't this baked into our affiliation? We have to use their
nothing's against strengthening the language. I don't know. I don't feel compelled by the difference here. Let's compare them. This says, I hereby certify that I oppose the initiation of force as a means of achieving political or social goals. Now, looking at the pledge that we have, I hereby certify that I will not initiate physical force or commit fraud against another to accomplish social or political goals. How about we unify these by simply saying, I hereby certify that I oppose and will not initiate force.
Yeah, I
Or
like that.
I'll
does that
second it.
cool?
Okay, so
And then I'm going to put, you know what? We should put them on notice that we changed the pledge. Dude,
We
that'll be so
strengthened
funny.
the pledge.
Yes, we're,
We
I mean it, man. Like,
we
that is the
we sh-
only thing.
And discuss
we
the distinction.
okay, so
LP Hawaii's X account should put out a post about it and then tag LP National.
We changed the pledge. We
I
fixed it for
will
you.
that I am opposed to and will not.
Certify that I oppose and will not.
Will not initiate physical force or bond. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess I move it.
Boy, if we could only get some statement of principles from the other parties that meant anything.
Right? Man, if they would just stick to what they say they care about,
Yeah.
it would
You know,
not be so bad.
just as a sidebar, years ago, I managed a campaign from a former student of mine up in Alaska, and he put in a money back guarantee in all of his pledges. He said, anything that I promise in the election, and you donate to my election, if I break any promise, then you have my money back guarantee that I'll have to refund the money that you donated to my campaign.
Work.
You know, because you get promises on cars and toasters that you buy, but you never from politicians who always say one thing and then do the opposite later. And we were told later on by some lawyers, a student lawyer, that said that would probably be illegal to give a money back guarantee to political promises because that would be viewed as a quid pro quo. You give me the money and then I will do something. But only if it sounds like it would only be illegal if it was promising to give some favor or benefit, not for sticking to your promises in an election. But at any rate, that's it'd be nice if politicians could be held accountable for their promises.
That sounds like a worthy fight to pick. Like that would be something that even if they said no, I would be willing to like take that to the mat. If they
Yeah,
want to call it a quid pro quo, that's kind of a trap they would fall into. I like your thinking on that. That's
even the publicity from a legal fight would be really good publicity.
dang. Yeah, I love that. That's good. That's good strategy. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the pledge?
Call for the motion.
I call the question. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Motion passed unanimously. On guys, I feel good about that. Thank you. I'm glad we're in agreement. On letter C, subsection C, I noticed that plans to reside there. I like that language because there's military people and whatnot who, they might be in process and election deadlines can sometimes suck. But it sounds like an exception kind of situation. It also sounds like the kind of thing that could be abused. So
It's not very definitive. I would agree with that.
right.
I think we could
Because theoretically, I could say, "Oh, I plan to move to Hawaii,"
someday.
as long as I state that that's my intention, even if I literally never come within 50 miles of Hawaii, I
Yeah,
would
how many
technically
people plan for
apply.
it?
Yeah, why don't you just say or resides there instead of plans to reside there?
I like that.
I mean, it doesn't require us to define residing, but living in the state, I think, would be obvious, as opposed to just planning to live in the state. Because that does leave it wide open to someone who's trying to manipulate the party from on the mainland or somewhere.
As much
Thank
as I
you.
like participating with y'all, I don't want to leave it open for other mainlanders. I don't want to leave this open for a repeat of last convention.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, the parliamentarians are still talking about us.
Okay, so change it from plans to reside there to resides there.
To yeah, or resides there. No, works in owns
Or
property,
resides.
works, comma, or resides.
Yeah, good.
I wonder if any other states looked at their bylaws after that.
Can I help you with this?
Wisconsin had a whole contention last year about out of state participation. Because there was some shady stuff that happened with removal of our chair, and then there were some out of staters that tried to get involved, which, yeah, ultimately we decided that out of staters can't vote. Plus, at the 2024 state convention, there was a out of stater from Michigan that just straight up stole a ballot and participated, and nobody noticed.
Wow.
Yikes. Yikes. Okay, we have a motion. We're going to change plans to reside there to owns property, works, or resides in Hawaii. Any further discussion on this change?
I'll
Hearing-
formally second it just so it's formally.
Right. I haven't had a second yet. Thanks. Seconded by Bryce.
Ooh, motion to Austin.
I actually brought attention to it. I think Ken suggested the first change on that. And then it's seconded by Bryce.
Does this
Ken,
mean
correct me.
does this mean that Trump is going to be attacking me and going after me and get me arrested?
Probably not. We'll call Angela and
Yeah.
have her plead on your behalf. If so. All right. Cool. I'm going to move us to a question. All those in favor of adopting the language, motion by Ken, changing plans to reside there to resides in Hawaii, say aye.
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 Excellent. Aye. All those oppose? All right. Cool. Unanimous. Moving on. All right. We have the next section, section 2.
Are we saying they must actively participate to hold membership? Or am I reading that wrong?
No, I don't think so. Where?
Are in good standing, defined as
Ooh,
having
yeah, you're right.
paid required dues if applicable.
Maintaining active participation. Ooh, yeah, you're right. That is a challenging one right there.
Should we strike that through?
I would accept that motion.
I'll motion that.
Second. All right. So the motion is to strike maintaining active participation. Motion by Abbra, second by, was that Ken?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none, I'll move us to a vote. All those in favor of striking maintaining active participation from clause D, please say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Vote is unanimous. All right. Excellent. Before we do motions on this next section, let's try to get the read through done because we were just going to do discussion. So that way we get through it. But I'm happy to hear them. But let's make sure we get the read through so that way if we get tired of the meeting, we can, come back to this if that's okay. Any questions before I hand the floor to Abbra to continue the read through? All right, hearing none. Abbra, please continue. You have the floor.
Section 2, rights and privileges. Members may freely express opinions as they participate in party activities, so long as they do not disrupt or hamper the party in its goals. Additional rights and privileges of membership may include running for party office, running for public office, observing executive committee meetings, and participating in county meetings. Receiving newsletters, exclusive offers, and access to special events, applying for party contracts or staff positions. And that's the end of section 2. I do have a couple comments on there too from Jakasha.
I have a couple thoughts on that too, just on a fresh read through. I kind of feel like there's a conflation of rights and privileges that aren't clearly defined here. And it's hard because okay. Let's continue the read through before we continue the comments, if that's okay. Or you read the read through includes the comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought we were pausing. I'm retarded.
We're doing section by section, so we can kind of.
This is all in section 2 now. So we're commenting. Okay. Well, yeah. First, a good question on this is running for public office. That's a touchy one because, I mean, I know from experience with the party over the years, we've had some people who would join the party, sign the pledge, and then ran a campaign that wasn't libertarian at all. And we wanted to be able to disavow them, to remove them from our list because they weren't abiding by their pledge and their the party, the pledge of principle. And we had some difficulties removing them from our list. So what do we do about that? Does giving them membership, does that automatically entitle them to run for public office as a libertarian, or do we have some kind of a screening mechanism to make sure that they are really behaving as libertarians in their
were they openly running as a libertarian though?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Gubernatorial candidate.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. I actually was aware.
I would argue that one would have been section 2(1) would have been the way to handle that. If there's maybe a way to more strictly define 1 to allow situations like that to be dealt with.
Well, we already have candidate process outlined later in the bylaws. Is that correct?
Hold up. Let me really quickly speak to Ken's question. Ken, your point is a great one. I adopted some of this language from our previous bylaws, and I obviously changed it. And I changed rights of membership to include rights and privileges. My worry about this language is that I've not defined what's a right, what's a privilege, and in so doing, there is vagary here, and that's dangerous. Somebody could construe this as a right, but it is not actually defined as a right. It is you have the right to attempt to run for office or petition the party for run for office. It's more of a privilege, right?
And there are candidates that run in parties all the time that don't reflect, like even Ed Case. Ed Case is not really a good Democrat. I mean,
yeah, and the reason for that is Hawaii's ballot access laws make it practically impossible for us to stop someone from declaring libertarian allegiance, right? Yeah. So this is one of the only areas where I feel like, oh yeah, Nick, thanks. That's a solid thing, and that I believe was previously part of it.
Yeah, because if they're not doing that as in their public office, Ron, then they're not really being a member.
There, I got it. They must. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and just copy the message from Nick. There you go. Thank you.
Article 3, Section 1.
We did technically define that the members have to do that. So if you're a member, you already subscribed to the rights. So actually, technically, that would be redundant, right? Members.
I think that was his point.
Yeah,
Open to
that's my point. We don't
individuals.
need to address it, I think, because membership already requires that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if that's a right of being a member, then
We
ipso
should
facto.
membership is open. We should change it to membership shall only be open to individuals. Who? I'm sorry, that's it's an out of order motion. You can just record it as a suggestion. We can pass it on the next one so that we don't have to stop everything for that. The section that we're on about the rights of membership, it's one of those where it's hard because I'd rather not omit that section. There are some things that are right to argue may be a right, and I kind of want to leave it up to the committee to interpret and to the delegates to interpret that, right? There are some people who it's like a hill to die on. They think they have a right to run for office, right? And represent the party. So I worded that in a way of representing the party. And then we've also have as Bryce pointed out, section 1, they're not allowed to disrupt or hamper the party in its goals, right? So if a candidate in the course of their advocacy is doing something unlibertarian, even if running for office is a right of membership, hampering the party in its goals is not.
In section 1?
Subsection 1. Not section 1. Subsection 1 of Article 3, section 1, subsection 2. Or subsection, or go down.
So is there a means?
Yeah.
No, she was at the right spot.
Sorry.
Article, yep.
Yeah, my bad. I messed up. Sorry, guys. There it is.
Right there.
So subsection 1 governs this, right? So whatever we define as a right of membership, like running for office, they can't hamper the party while running for office. But technically, it's a privilege, not a right. So I watered this down, and I normally would not do that. But again, some of these things can be rather dicey and complicated, but some of them are already kind of represented in the old bylaws, and I don't want to weaken membership rights in general. And I think that it is a good thing to be able to argue that, hey, look, the bylaws say that you should have the ability to do. You shouldn't be like, hey, I want to run for office, and the EC is just like, no, we don't like you, right? Like, I want them to feel like they need to justify it. So, the way around this to justify it as a privilege would be to create a policy for it that they have to follow, right? And we've kind of already taken the steps to do that. So I think that should address most of the concerns that are initially raised on this section, because I agree, like, it's dangerous. We could have anybody run for office and we have almost no recourse, right? We could have anybody run for party office and there's very little recourse for that. There are things that just come inherently in Hawaii with identifying as a libertarian that it would be hard to stop, so that's my thinking, and I'm open to any suggestions or anything. If you guys think it would be better to just remove that section and disambiguify it, that's fine. But I like the idea of leaving things that help to kind of protect potential rights from bad gatekeeping, and at the same time leave enough vagary that it doesn't let somebody just be like, oh, I can do what I want. So
also, you've included the word membership may include, which allows the flexibility. Okay, this is something you're joining the party for an ability, but we still hold you accountable. In other words, is there a mechanism for holding them accountable?
Yes. Article 7.
Okay, well then that's good. I didn't see Article 7 yet, but that's good. If you've got a mechanism, then I can see wanting to encourage them here, and then the section later that holds people accountable. Yeah.
Thanks. I've tried to put some care into this, but it's so easy to accidentally word something too loose or too tight. So really, I appreciate your guys' feedback big time, and don't hesitate to call anything out that you think is unfortunate, even if it's just unfortunately worded. One thing that might be unfortunately worded is like exclusive in the word exclusive offers, but I think maybe I'm being a little nitpicky because what I mean by that is things exclusive to the party. So like there's publications that we'll send to members that we won't send to others. But if you're a member, you should be theoretically getting those. And if you're not, you could point to this and say, I should be receiving newsletters, exclusive offers, and access to special events.
I don't think I see exclusive.
It's down in E.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually fine. I'm not suggesting we change it. I'm just giving some thought. Any further discussion on section 2 before we move on to section 3? And if we're losing steam, you guys can let me know and we can continue the discussion at the next meeting. So, just let me know how everybody's doing.
DaCosta's version says to be eligible to receive the party nomination for partisan public office, with the exception of the presidential and vice presidential candidates who shall be the candidates nominated pursuant to the national party's bylaws.
Mm-hmm. I think I know why he put that in there.
As a side note, that's kind of already the national way things work, so I don't know that that's necessary, but it also includes voting as a delegate at any party conventions and being eligible to be elected as a delegate or an alternate to a national party convention. I think the national party already also governs their own delegate situation.
I think they wrote that just for me.
Eligibility for national committee positions was also listed. But national themselves don't require affiliate memberships. So
okay.
Abbra, the reason he put the part about POTUS and VPOTUS is because there were states. I'm sure you know this already. There were states that tried to, because Chase Oliver, and from their point of view, because Chase Oliver basically wasn't supported by those states' delegates, and those states felt that he, as their candidate, would have been like really damaging to the party's image. There was attempts to not have him as the specific nominee for those states.
Right, but those were already like out of order for national rules. Is that right?
What? No, they're allowed to. So, like in theory, if you don't want to put the national candidate on your ballot, your affiliate has the freedom to not do that, and it makes it theoretically.
The only reason Colorado got stuck with Chase Oliver is because Karen Ann Harlos went behind the state party's back and turned in everything before they could do anything about it.
Okay, well, from the affiliate perspective, I feel like we want to maintain as much as autonomy as possible.
I agree, but before we continue discussion on this, someone would need to second this as a motion for us to open up discussion into this proposed.
Oh, I thought we were discussing this section.
We're discussing the section, but that's a proposed change.
Okay.
I have no intent on seconding that.
All right. Well, we'll move along.
I had a suggestion to remove the county mention since we don't really have structures in place for that yet.
I would just say if available, but again, it's rights and privileges may include. So that would cover that.
Okay.
Because we're not going to be without county parties for long. This year we are going to have them. That is a thing. We're going to have regular local meetings happening in every island. That has to be like a major goal of REC.
Okay.
Come this time next year, that's what I want, and that will make the biggest single difference to what we're doing. especially if we have in-person meetings going on. We'll need some volunteers to step up, but move us along.
Okay.
Back to
Do we
dues
want
and
to
levels
go
of
to
membership.
the next section, or do we want to?
Let's read through it and see how we're feeling
Okay.
if we want to continue after that.
Section 3, dues and levels of membership.
This is the controversy section, by the way, guys. So
yeah, we're getting into kind of the details now.
No saltiness or anything. Just Abbra and I rarely disagree, but on this, she has a suggestion, and she might be right. She's usually right. You should listen to her. She's
okay. Party dues are annual fees for membership rights determined by membership level. All members must adhere to Article 3, Section 1 requirements. Those are the principles, membership levels, and dues. Sustaining members pay the standard dues amount. The standard dues amount may be lowered by the executive committee by 2/3 approval at any time. The annual dues may be raised by the executive committee once per term, no later than 90 days after convention by 2/3 approval, and with 30 days notice provided to the membership. Traveling members must meet basic member requirements and pay $200 annual dues and are exempt from residency requirements. Lifetime members must meet basic member requirements and pay a $3,500 one-time fee. Rights include all other applicable membership privileges without recurring dues. Lifetime members who no longer reside in Hawaii do not retain the right to run for party office. Auxiliary members shall be representatives of qualified auxiliary organizations who also meet the membership requirements of Article 3, Section 1 and Article 5, Section 1 requirements. Dues are set by the executive committee on a case-by-case basis. Rights depend on their membership level. Auxiliary organizations shall not hold party asset ownership or hold officer positions. To upgrade between membership tiers, a member must pay the difference in dues via a method approved by the treasurer and submit updated contact information and, if required, proof of residency to confirm eligibility. The treasurer, secretary, or qualified designee will verify submissions to ensure compliance with party bylaws and rules and with applicable laws.
Okay. Big section. Real quick on something that I noticed is on the lifetime members who no longer reside in Hawaii do not retain the right to run for party office. It should say cannot run for party office because we don't
Do
want
we
to
even
define it
need
as a
to
right.
spell that out though? Because that's just a law.
Yeah, we could strike that whole phrase. That's fine if that's your motion. I'm sorry, we haven't really discussed much. If you want to go ahead and earmark that as a motion,
Yeah.
smart. Any discussion on this section before we open floor for motions?
Hey, you can go.
I'll let you go first, Nick.
Okay. Yeah. Only thing I wanted to ask, real quick, just as far as the bylaws are concerned. So where are the sustaining dues officially posted? Like I feel like that should probably be, if not specified in the bylaws for flexibility, we should at least say in the bylaws exactly where the official dues amount can be found.
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying here, and maybe I can disambiguify it. This would mean that the executive committee can set the dues, right? So they
So it's,
wouldn't necessarily be in the bylaws. They would be set by standing rule. Should we? Oh, I see what you're saying. Should we make them publish it on the website?
yeah, and like tell them like where they find it on the website, or just so that like if they feel like they saw it any other place, like there can be something that says, hey, it's not the official like amount unless you see it here, if that makes sense. Because there's two spots in this section that say it's set by the executive committee and approved by chair, treasurer, all that stuff, but it says the amount for travelers, it says the amount for lifetime members, and then it just says who sets it for sustaining. So I'm just thinking if there's just a brief line somewhere and they're just saying, and the official sustaining dues amount is found here.
The official.
I think the official sustaining dues amount is 20, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
But like if we did increase it to say 25, like other than people paying online and it just automatically gets them that amount, like how do they know 25 is the one set in stone?
Right.
And then if we increase it to 30 later,
fun.
okay.
While this is getting typed out, does the XCOM set the traveling membership dues?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What's a traveling member? Somebody who's residing in Hawaii, but are they traveling the entire year?
This was my thought on before the invasion earlier this year. I wrote this before then. My thought was if you wanted to be a member, like we have a Kanaka on the mainland who's working, doesn't know when they'll be moving back, but it's home and they want to have a say in what's going on. If they can't afford a lifetime membership for whatever reason, because $3,500 might be a lot to shell out, this would give the ability for them to pay a $200 annual fee while they're not in the state, be exempt from residency requirements. This is where Abbra and I disagree. Abbra, you feel free to suggest your alternative.
I feel like we should consolidate it down to sustaining and lifetime and keep the section about the executive committee's schedule on that can be moved to kind of the bottom. I don't think that I feel like we're complicating it for ourselves a lot by adding like auxiliary and travel and all of those.
Okay, because the suggestion I was gonna make, if XCOM doesn't set the traveling dues, maybe I'm just a brutal, vindictive asshole, but I actually think traveling members should be more expensive than 200.
I'm curious, why would somebody pay $200 annual dues when they can get a membership for $20? Why?
I think it was a way to mitigate the amount of out of state like mainland participation.
Yeah, it was.
Because the mainlanders would have to pay 200 instead of 20. Personally, I'm fine with I'm fine either way, whether traveling members get struck or not, but the problem with striking traveling, but if we keep traveling, I would actually recommend charging more than 200.
Go ahead.
My thought here was that it would just make out of state invasion more expensive since we're closing the membership loophole to allow people to just join for $20 even if they're out of state. Now there's a kind of residence / legit interest in Hawaii that they have to have, right?
Right.
And so the idea was we have people who are here like part of the year and we want to welcome them, but they might even be registered to vote in another state. They might not have any residency or the ability to do that. They're just here for part of the year. I thought giving them a increased amount could bring us a little bit of revenue. Abra's point about simplifying it, the more I think about that, the more I like it, because maybe we can just lower that lifetime membership a bit and then the residency requirements go away, and we get, a really good amount out of those people for that. I think that makes more sense and accomplishes the same thing. So
I like that because it simplifies it, and they can still be a lifetime member. For somebody who's really intending long term, $3,500 does save the money over the long term because they never have to pay again. But it certainly blocks somebody from doing it as a one-time gesture to try and take over the party. They're not going to pay that kind of money uh, to try and fudge the numbers here. So yeah, I like the idea of just eliminating B.
I think I'm talked over on that too. I think Abra, you're right that it just simplifies it. If we strike out B and we can combine these if it's good. I was going to add accept residency to after the word requirements on lifetime members, so that because right now it accidentally says basic member requirements without accepting residency.
Do we, well, we want them to be residents when they receive the lifetime membership though, don't we?
I don't know. I mean, do you want to be able to confer lifetime memberships on like people or, whatever? Like, I think it's a good idea to leave that open.
Okay.
But I'm open to either way. We want that amount to be enough that, if somebody is trying to like really anything over $100 in dues makes coordinated takeovers expensive and not worth the risk.
Okay, so we're gonna motion to remove subsection B.
Remove subsection B. And can we combine this? Is there any objection to combining these two motions to save time? Add accept residency. So we'll vote on both of these.
Well, if we remove subsection B, there wouldn't really be a point to adding accept residency in subsection B.
I screwed up. It's supposed to say subsection C. My bad.
Okay.
There you go. Which will become subsection B once we strike B.
Oops.
So I don't know if I can make it more confusing for you guys. Oh wait, hold on.
Hold on. Let it undo.
Wait, hold on.
I will say if this wasn't the route that we were going, I was probably going to motion to change the B amount to like 400. But I like this is probably the better way to go about it.
It's so funny because I was just when I was talking with Abbra before and she suggested this, I was like, no, we should raise it to like 400, $300, make sure that it's like, and we were calculating out how much would it have costed to do the same thing, and it's more, but it's still not enough. Like, if you think about it, like you really don't want it to be possible to buy your political party, and theoretically buying it with lifetime memberships technically kind of leaves that open, but it would take a very wealthy person to do that.
Okay.
And a lot of commitment.
Right.
Do we have a second on this combined motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Nick Zehr. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll move us to a vote. Go ahead and
Yeah,
thank you. Do that before we vote, so it's clear. Ooh.
no.
Oh yeah, wow, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Don't, an idiot.
Remove traveling members, but have accept residency for traveling members.
I will accept a vote of no confidence in the chair.
All right.
Any movers? Just kidding.
Can we call the question?
Yes. All right. All those in favor of adopting the proposed amendment, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Ken, I'm not sure if I recorded your vote.
Aye.
Excellent. Cool. Carries unanimously. All right, cool. And then let's go ahead and add those. The auxiliary members section, the idea of this is done in the other parties where they'll take an auxiliary organization and they'll take a representative of them and they'll put them on the board. I was early on told and promised that there was like no way to avoid that. It's just the reality. And there is a compelling logic to why that is useful, but I'm no longer convinced that this is necessary to put in. But when I thought about taking the section out, someone pointed out to me that that could theoretically leave the power to do so basically or de facto without having some kind of rule on it in the bylaws, because it's already done in Hawaii. And so it's going to be imitated over in our party eventually, is the thought.
But could you explain to me what an auxiliary member is? I don't quite get it.
Sure. If let's give Grassroots Institute as an example. If they wanted to put a representative from their organization on our board, right, they would do that through an auxiliary membership, in theory. So like the Oahu League of Women's Voters is an auxiliary member. Yeah. So like they're not supposed to, if anybody, these are from the big problems, the big issues that arise with this practice when it happens, and this is my understanding of it, is you don't want these auxiliary members holding any real like officer power. You don't want them, which I don't think they really can do anyway, but you don't want them owning any party assets. That's really, really critical. So like the Oahu League of Women's Voters, for instance, owned the Hawaii Republican Party's headquarters, or at least had a big interest in it, right? So, and they used that in order to basically leverage, what they wanted out of the party when they wanted it, with alarming frequency. At least that's the scuzzle that I heard that kind of led to me thinking, okay, well, maybe it's a good idea to go ahead and make a section on this. The idea here is that if a libertarian organization wants to work in tandem with the party, right, and wants to have a close relationship with us, right, this is how they can do that. Supposedly, I'm not married to this. So if we're not comfortable with this amendment, it is perfectly okay if we need to just remove it, table it, come back to it later. But the idea is this would give a PAC like, whatever group, it would allow them to have a say. And the problem is you really don't want that unless you're getting a lot more out of that than what you're giving up. And with my experience now versus when I wrote this, I don't feel like this clause is as important as it should be, or is as necessary as I thought it was. The theory, though, is that it could be theoretically possible for a future board to add auxiliary members or do something like that without necessarily calling them auxiliary members. And this was meant to set some limits on this. Their dues would be, probably set on a case-by-case basis, which means, whatever institute or whatever that's wanting a position on your board, they better be paying, right? They better pay well. So that's the thought behind it. And I don't know how comfortable I am with that concept just all on its own anyway. And but this was the restrictions that I thought were prudent for that.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, please do.
I kind of favored the idea of eliminating that category of auxiliary members for this reason. If an organization like the Grassroots Institute, an excellent suggestion too, I mean, to have them involved with us, would be fantastic. It seems to me that if they wanted involvement in the membership, it would be so easy for them to just come to the convention and get elected the way anyone else. I mean, it's usually we're sort of searching for somebody who wants to be on. I mean, it's not like it's impossible for them to just come and participate and get elected. That way, our membership gets to decide who represents them on the board, rather than feeling like we're setting up a special thing for people who are big money contributors, and that's a worrisome thing, because then, like these other parties, they become beholden to and influenced heavily by somebody with big money bags. So anyway, it seems like if they want to become involved, they can just go to the convention and get themselves elected the way any other executive member does. That way, the whole membership gets to vote on them.
I share your thoughts here a little bit. One thing I would say though is that improper coordination laws prevent them as an organization from influencing us that way. That would be an improper influence, and they could get fined for it. That's why this is part of why like auxiliary members exist, is so that if we wanted to officially coordinate with them, it gives them the ability to kind of like weigh in, and it keeps it above board and reported, is my understanding of it. But I share your concerns.
That's not a legal problem for them to be an auxiliary board member.
Yeah, just like in there's a lot of examples of this in political law. You can do almost anything if you report it the right way, right? Like there are rules. Okay, we're drawing towards the end of how long we can keep our computer on. Huh. On this, I had a previous section on this that required this to be approved by the convention. And the way I wrote it previously was that if the auxiliary members, and actually Article 5, Section 1 might actually cover that.
Can I just point out something on that, though? With that idea, a convention can change any rule they want to.
In theory,
so, like, if the convention decides something like that, they're not prevented from doing so anyway. So it would be kind of pointless to.
Well, this is about allowing this set of rules to govern that. And you're right that if it would have to go to convention, then we would just need to say that auxiliary members require a vote at convention. That might be a simpler way to handle it. And we might not even technically. Hold on. Sorry. Where was this? Article 5, section. That's Article.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
It's Article 3.
No, I know, but it references Article 5, Section 1. So I was going to go down and read that. Renew annually. We'll need to change that. Oh, we just lost our screen share. Shoot. Well, I think that probably wraps it. Ken, you're probably right. It might be just simpler to scrap that language. All the other state parties don't seem to have language about that.
We can definitely pick up the discussion right where we left off at the next bylaws committee meeting too, and just continue with the flow. Yeah. We made a lot of good progress.
I could throw it up on my screen, but we don't need to be juggernauts tonight, right?
Good.
It's that time.
Cool. Perfect. Here, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any opposition? All right. We are adjourned. Excellent.
Good. This is fun. I mean, can you believe I said fun? My gosh, that's terrible.
I'm glad you feel that way. I thought it was fun too. This is really helpful for me because like there's been some of these things where it's like I would have loved to just have a few people to sit down and crunch it out with. So this is like perfect. I've been dying for this. So thank you everybody for being here. Like we're gonna. I hope we're gonna come out with a really good product that everybody likes, and I really feel like just for that reason alone, it might be good to avoid the auxiliary language, or maybe put that as like a side item that's not attached to the draft that the convention can consider separately. Something like that. Anyway, Ken, your input tonight was super valuable. Thank you. I hope you keep coming to the bylaws committee because that was so on point.
Well, good. You make me feel like it was worthwhile. And well, it's been a long time, and this is fun to get back with. And I know you guys. I've had Nick and Alice over at our house twice now, actually 3 times now. And Celina, I have yet to meet you in person. And Bryce, I look forward to meeting you too. You're both on Big Island, yeah?
Oh, no. I'm in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, I mean, I look forward to meeting you someday too, but
I've been trying to convince him to buy land out here, but he is one of the defenders who showed up to at the last minute at our call when we realized we were getting mobbed. But even before that,
yes, I participated as a mainlander with the intent of taking my own voting rights away so that you guys could have your own convention.
Well, hey, I'm curious, how is it that you got so interested in the Libertarian Party of Hawaii then? Are you
I've been following what Austin's been up to with his state party, and obviously I'm trying to fix my own because LP Wisconsin I feel like is